What's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy Tim, aka I Feel Truth. It's been a minute since I've been on this channel. I just wanted to go into a bit more depth. I put up a video on my main channel yesterday talking about the way I've been eating, my diet at the moment, how my body is, how my, what I'm focused on. Focused on getting through the winter first and foremost. Getting through these cold, dark months. So it's a bit noisy, it should quieten down as I get further down the canal path. But you notice in the last year or so I talked a lot. Go for a little jog. You know what? Just do this. Put these behind here. Behind this thing. Cool. Right. So I talked a lot about healing lately. And because that became my hobby, I guess, is, you have hobbies. Growing up, mine was football, and then breakdancing, and then parkour, and then, veganism sort of become a hobby. The things you watch online, the things you talk about a lot, becomes a passion of yours. And then veganism was like the first step on the rung of healing, of like identifying, rather than just wanting like a creative outlet is a great form of a hobby, I think, if you're into music or painting or creating content, whatever you do. You should always try and keep that in your life and never lose that. But on the side to that, because that sort of became my career, making creative content with parkour and YouTube and stuff, you need a hobby. And once healing becomes your hobby, it's a good and a bad road, because you're identifying issues that you weren't aware of, which can be painful. Enlightenment is a painful process because it's making light the dark corners of your mind, of your body, things you weren't aware of before. And when I say body, like my body, when I did parkour for years, I wasn't aware of stiffness. Then I got into yoga and started to understand alignment and started to feel how my body should feel, and I was aware of the limitations that were in it that aren't natural or aren't where it could be. And so it's highlighting them can be painful in the first place. What's that quote about? You are both the sculpture and the statue. You're both, so you're chiseling down. And so on this path of healing, identifying it, because society, unless you're really ill, that's the thing, that's one of the biggest things. Unless you're really ill, then you shouldn't really talk about it. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing for me, is that's what being an adept is not having to go through serious issues to work on growth. I've not had any serious illnesses or ailments, Thank the Lord, been blessed with that, but therefore I feel more responsibility in a way that I see what I can do with these healing techniques. When tears are streaming down my face, quite nice. And this sun, beautiful winter sun. That's more responsibility, and that takes more, not more, but in a way that's bravery. That's the way I see it. I'm not trying to call myself brave, but that's what I see it as. It's like, especially with stuff like the urine therapy and things like that, it's like, I don't really have to do that, but I'm fascinated with this stuff, with the, understanding the human body and becoming resensitized. That's the thing with healing. There's so many different techniques to healing. There's so many different things. Like diet is a massive part of it. How you sleep, how you breathe, the water you drink, the people you surround yourself with. There's so many incremental things that might each make it 1%. Like diet might be 5%, but that's a huge 5%. Like you feel each bit, and you become more and more sensitive to each change you make, and then you feel more of effects in the beginning when you make a change than later on as it becomes more normal. You have like a spike and then it settles down. But I don't need to go through any crazy serious illnesses to try something that could help me, and therefore I can, and then in the position I'm in, with the platform that I have, not that it's huge, but I've always built it on being honest with myself and being honest with my audience, and not trying to fit in or trying to do something for the audience. That I do what I enjoy and I do what I find important. And so for me, healing became the hobby, and there's so many good things to that, and there's so many down things to that, because the good things, obviously, as you heal, you feel better. The down things is, it can alienate you from people, it can put you on an accelerated path away from people you're close to who aren't ready or willing to make those changes, and it's not their responsibility to make those changes with you. It's not your job to stay aligned with everyone you're around. It's your job to accept the change and to just trust the universe a bit and follow what you're guided to do, not what you want everyone else to be guided to do. That's why winter can be tough, because everyone's on a high throughout the summer a bit, and winter comes and you see who's really around. That's what happens when at night time. What are you able to see at night that you can't see in the day? When it's dark, what can you see? You can see the stars. So when it's dark in your life, when it's lonely, whatever, going through crazy times, the stars come out. You see the stars. The stars aren't celebrities on TV that were led in this, the false matrix of television and YouTube. I'm not, a star because I put myself on this YouTube. The stars are the people around you in your life that help you, that are important to you on a direct level, on a day-to-day basis. Those friends that help you through the winter months. That's the stars, not the celebrity stars. They're also stars, they're just the matrix, false matrix stars. The real stars are the people in your movie, the other characters, the other roles entering your film. And you see them when it's dark, you see them in the lonely times. And fundamentally, you're the star of your own world. You've got to be your own sun. You're the sun of your world. Remember when they taught you that the sun was the closest star? Feels a bit different, doesn't it? Being the sun and seeing the stars. Your life feels so important. It feels so much. You can't fathom it's hard to fathom the importance of someone else's life. Your own death seems way crazier to comprehend when you try and think about it than everyone else's, but it's something you could comprehend. You should comprehend. We should comprehend. I should comprehend. Often speculate on, accept. Something we should be reminded of every day from birth. I remember at 4 years old I was crying to my mum quite often, we're going to die someday. Like I couldn't, I was afraid of it. Probably still am. I definitely still am to some degree. That's my work on a subconscious level, to accept that. And I get better at it. And I talked about it previously, how I know where I'm at with it is when I'm on an aeroplane and turbulence kicks off and you get that little twang of fear. If that fear is it's like serious, like, oh, if we crash I'm not going to be happy, and I'm afraid of that. It's frosty. Sorry, it's distracting me. If that fear is just, if we crash now, I'm satisfied with life. Can you get to that? How often can you feel that feeling? That's part of the goal. Oh my God. Oh. And so, healing is like veganism in the sense that if you're not vegan, if you're not on healing, and someone talks about it, it feels a bit uncomfortable and awkward, doesn't it? Why are you talking about healing? What you got issues for? You seem alright. Yeah, I'm alright. Just know I could feel better. No, just get on with it. Just get on with life, innit? That's it. That's part of the duality and the paradox for me. Is part, like Buddhism teachings, is acceptance of where you're at. And yet I've got a deep inner pang yearning that's calling me, that says, Tim, humans aren't supposed to be like this. Like, if you're alright, I'm alright, and most people that I hang out with are alright, and yet we still don't feel that good, like as constantly as we know we could or we did. What's going on here? What's going on? As far as I can highlight, a lot of it is going on in our subconscious, stored emotions from childhood, a lot of trickery in our subconscious from all the movies, years of movies and dramas and TV shows. Like, I was watching a program yesterday, and they were driving around California, and they were staying in a motel, and one of the comments from one of the people staying there was like, you know, a serial killer could come up. That is purely programmed from so many American TV shows that I used to watch, Dexter and stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah, there is, and I've stayed in those motels. There is a weird feeling about it. That's from movies. Same with being out in the woods at night, and witchcraft and all this stuff from movies. We have like a subconscious fear, and you can watch a movie and go, yeah, I know it's just a movie, until you're out in the woods at night, and then it suddenly becomes more than a movie to you. And that's one of the things that I've identified to take control of. Now people can go, oh, you're just thinking too much, it's too serious, or you know, whatever. It's like, cool, yeah, for where most people are at. I'm done the white belt, done the red belt, done the yellow belt. I'm getting up in those things, and you have to be more and more sensitive and more aware to highlight Wagwan. So that's where I'm in those realms of highlighting what beliefs do we hold that affect us on a subconscious level in how we feel about life, how we feel about ourselves, how I feel about God, how I feel about the nature of the universe, and what beliefs have our ancestors held that are different from that, and when we practice those beliefs, how does that affect us? And that's what I do. That is experiential evidence to me, empirical evidence. Empirical, Greek for experience, comes from that. Empirical evidence, and I think a lot more humans would be happier if they base life on empirical evidence rather than fear given to them from news, media, TV, from dramas, from TV shows with crazy stories of how relationships are, and not in actuality how relationships should function or do function in real life. These false ideas that we get imprinted in our minds that then lead us to identify that maybe we need some healing, and that it's okay to work on healing, and that there are other people that are working on healing, that have worked on healing. There's so many things you can try, and that's fun, and so make it your hobby to work on that, and don't be in a rush with it as well. Take your time, follow the seasons. I've had a good year, did some good things over summer, tried some new things, you know. I'll be back next spring, next summer, charged again. The sun's going to charge me again. My energy, people around me, friends, family, places. Just get through the winter, focus on the stars in this dark times around you. Show them some light, some love back. Use your sun. And that's it. That's it from me. Hope you're well this winter. Riding those ups and downs. You're on the right path. See you at the crossroads. Peace out.